Good morning. It's Monday, the 26th of September, and it's time for DaviePHD's Mythbusters, episode 14. Many things are said about Scotland, independence, the Union, the EU, etc. In these videos, I bust the myths that many people believe and are commonly peddled by those opposed to independence. This week, I'm busting the myth that the UK Internal Market Bill is not a power grab, because it bloody well is. There can be no doubt that in a union like the EU, trade between nations requires agreements and standards to ensure consumer safety, ethics and a level playing field. The UK Internal Market, or UKIM Bill, was sold to us as a way to ensure that trade continues smoothly within the UK post-Brexit. But if the UK government and the Conservatives really believe their core unionist message, i.e. that we are one nation, then why do we need a UK Internal Market Bill at all? The UK government position is as follows. The UKIM Bill ensures frictionless trade continues within the four nations of the UK after Brexit, protects business and thereby jobs by ensuring trade continues as above, ensures a level playing field between the four nations of the UK after Brexit, returns power from the EU to the devolved governments, and allows for UK government direct investment in the devolved nations, just like the EU Development Fund did before it. The Scottish Government position is, the four nations of the UK already trade frictionlessly, did so for hundreds of years before the EU ever existed, and there's no reason not to afterwards. Rather than ensuring a level playing field, the UKIM Bill actually starts a race to the bottom by compelling all UK nations to accept a product if it meets the standard in one of the UK nations. It does not return all of the powers that it should to the Scottish Government and other devolved nations. It allows the UK Government to invest without consulting ScotGov, and the conditions can't undermine devolved spending plans. It strays outside trade, seeking to interfere in our independent judicial system. Dependent on your point of view, there's truth in all of those positions, so let's look at each argument objectively and declare a winner for each argument. The UKIM Bill could back up the UK position of ensuring frictionless trade, but given that we're all one nation, we're each other's neighbours and we've just isolated ourselves from the European Union, it is safe to say it was never under threat. So I'm going to call that a win to Scotland. The UKIM Bill protects businesses and jobs as previously mentioned, but again it's unnecessary, so that's another win to Scotland. The UKIM Bill ensures a level playing field, or does it start a race to the bottom? When Boris Johnson won the general election, he claimed that he would level up all the boats by raising the tide. If the UKIM Bill adopted the highest standard from the four UK nations, then the UK government would win this one, but it doesn't. As the bill will allow the UK to impose the lowest standard, it is a race to the bottom rather than raising all the boats on the same tide. So that's a win to Scotland. The UKIM Bill returns powers to Scotland versus doesn't return them all. I'm going to be kind and call this one a tie. As far as the argument goes, both are true. But that doesn't mean it's a neutral point. The UK retaining power over Scotland has never been good for us recently, but on this particular issue it is a tie. The UKIM Bill allows for direct UK investment by the UK government in Scotland, versus it allows Westminster to undermine ScotGov's spending plans. Now, EU investment was always done in consultation with member states or their devolved governments. So the EU investment could be focused where it was needed and factored into Holyrood spending plans. But the UKIM Bill isn't as transparent. It allows for the UK government to invest without consultation, and then also allows for the UK government to slap the Union Jack all over said investment to curry favour with the voting public. But that's not the worst of it. Oh no, not by a long shot. The UKIM Bill also allows the UK government to impose conditions on the investment, including repayment. So that's a win to Scotland. The UKIM Bill also contains a mechanism which would allow it to interfere with the Scottish judicial reviews and our court system in general. Now, European courts like the European Court of Justice or the European Court of Human Rights only ever became involved when Scottish legal processes became exhausted or they made a ruling that was not in compliance with the EU area. But the UKIM bill will seek to influence before decisions are made and to change processes. This can only be seen as a power grab. The independence of the Scottish judiciary was a key tenet of the 1707 Act of Union, and the UKIM bill seeking to circumvent that will not be good for Scotland. It's outside the remit of any trade bill. So that's a win to Scotland. Having gone through all of those points objectively, the Scottish Government is right in 5 of the 6 main arguments against the UKIM bill. The UK and Scottish Government are tied in 1 of the 6 main arguments. The UK Government doesn't win any of the 6 main arguments. If anyone believes that a Tory-led government is going to benevolently invest in Scotland, then they need to have a word with themselves. This is, after all, the same UK government that voted down an amendment to feed poor children last week. I'm afraid the UK government investments in Scotland will be targeted into marginal constituencies where they'll have the Union Jack plastered all over them in an attempt to shore up support for themselves and the Union. The monies will most likely then be removed from our block grant from the Treasury as repayment under the terms of the UKIM bill, without any public mention. This will also directly affect the Scottish Government's ability to fund their own programmes under the devolution settlement. Interference in our judiciary is revenge, plain and simple. Revenge for the Scottish courts ruling against them in last year's prorogation case, leading to the UK Supreme Court having to intervene and ultimately finding against the government. Now, the UK government is quite correct when they say that chlorinated chicken, hormone-injected beef, etc. are not immediately made legal once the bill passes. But when you also factor in that a UK government-appointed body will oversee trade standards, then the power to change that in the future rests squarely with Westminster. If they concede to get a trade deal, we can't stop them. Added to which, the UKIM bill breaks the EU withdrawal agreement, breaks international law, threatens Northern Irish peace, and a trade deal with the largest economy in the world. The only conclusion that can be drawn is that this bill can't even be good for the UK, let alone Scotland. The power grab we talk of is not about the 78 powers that are coming back to Scotland. We're not arguing about that. It's the fact that an unelected, unaccountable body will effectively be put in charge of our trade standards. Additionally, that the UK government can invest where it wants to in Scotland without consulting us and take the money back from us without challenge. And the fact that they want to interfere in our independent judicial processes. All of this outweigh any of the potential positive sovereignty impacts of those 78 powers returning. That is what makes it a naked power grab. The 78 powers were a distraction. They always were. Trade between the 4 nations of the UK has never been in doubt. We've been trading with each other since times before the nations were even called Scotland and England. The time we have been in the EU common market is a blip compared to the millennium we've all been warring, trading and ultimately joining up with each other. The most painful fact for Boris Johnson's government is that they've been found out not to be the deal makers they thought they were. Their inability to thrash out a deal with the European Union has meant that the only leverage they have left is over their own country with their parliamentary majority, and the only way to win is to wield it. The UK Internal Market Bill is unnecessary, ill-timed and a naked power grab. If you doubt that, then consider this. If the Scottish Government were the only one of the devolved governments opposing the UKIM bill, then it could be seen as SNP independence politicking. But the Welsh Senate, the Northern Irish Assembly at Stormont, are not run by parties seeking independence from the UK. But they have all joined the Scottish Government in refusing legislative consent for the UK Internal Market Bill. There may well be a place for the UKIM bill, or a version of it, in a future I outlined previously, post-Indy Ref 2, when the Union becomes more like the Nordic Union. There may be a place for a trade agreement between the 4 current nations of the UK. But it would be a very different agreement, negotiated for the common good, rather than imposed on 3 reluctant nations. There may well be a time and place to negotiate such a deal, but to paraphrase Theresa May, now is not the time. In its current guise, the UK Internal Market Bill is nothing more than a desperate attempt by the UK government to exercise control over their own country because they have squandered their power and influence elsewhere. It also reveals their lack of confidence in the future of the Union. If they had any confidence in the security of their precious Union, they wouldn't need this bill at all. Make no mistake, they are shitting bricks. Folks, thanks for watching. Feel free to share this video with anyone you like, especially undecided voters. DaviePHD.